All right, well, welcome back, folks. This week we're going to be talking about the next two steps in your home buying journey. I'm here with my business partner, Scott. By the way, I'm Joseph. This is Scott.
Scott.
Yeah, see, that's Scott. And yeah, we're going to continue our discussion from last time. So last time we definitely talked about setting your strategy, getting a consultation going, finding out your financing. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the whole home buying situation, and that is your showings and making offers. And for those of you who are vegan out there, maybe not meat and potatoes, maybe potatoes. So
Potatoes.
potatoes, there you go.
Oh wait,
Just
that's a
kidding.
vegetable.
That is a vegetable anyway, so you're good. No.
Tofurkey.
Yeah, there you go. Great. So showings, how does that work? Well, once you find out what you're able to do, how you're able to operate in this market, and what that means is what you're approved for, your price range. Oh, hey, there's a person jumped on, so
Right.
I believe it's Ken. All right, hey. But once you find out what you are approved for, then we're going to get into finding homes that actually fit your price range. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, you have access to the MLS now through us and through your realtor. And what we'll do is we'll send you properties via the MLS that actually fit what you need and are in your price range. Okay, so if you're looking for 3-bed, 2-bath, and you don't want to be any more than 250,000, then you will get those properties sent to you via email. What we do as a team, we like to be extra proactive. And if we find out there's a possibility of a home's going to be on the market, we tell you to be on the lookout. And if there are homes on the market and you might be at work, right? But something hits the market that actually fits exactly what you need, we're going to be texting you while at work. So sorry to your boss, but we're going to send you a text because people can see their text at work a little bit easier. And then I'll ask you, hey, do you want to go see this after you get off work? Yes or no? Let me know, because we want to make sure that the best way to win in this market is through speed and urgency. Okay, so as soon as something does hit the market, you guys know, you've heard stories about houses are gone within hours. That's not 100% the case now still, but houses are still selling really fast because it's a seller's market. So that is still somewhat an issue, or the situation in the market. Now, when it comes to doing the showings, typically we'll go through the property and we'll look at it from top to bottom as much as we can. We don't get inside crawl spaces or anything. That's for an inspector to do. But we'll look at the home, and we're in there typically about 15 minutes. So when we're in there, we're gonna look at everything, go out the back door, walk around the yard, do the whole shebang. We're gonna really see how that home could work for you. And that's what we're going through. We're gonna point out things that you've talked about to us. Like, yes, you're looking for that open concept, that living room, that kitchen that flows. We'll look at things like that. And if it works for you, if it's something that you actually were looking for and it can work, then we'll discuss writing an offer possibly. So Scott, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I was gonna, one question I think a lot of people ask is, like, let's say I'm driving past the house and I see a sign, who do I call? Because it has someone else's name on that sign. So, what do we do in that situation?
Oh, perfect. That's a great question, Scott. Okay, so in the market, you will see signs all over the yard because they're listings, right? The person that's on the sign is the listing agent. They're the person that is listing that home. Now, you should reach out to your realtor, the person that you've been talking to see that home. Because, quick fact, all the homes that are on the market and that are listed with signs in the yard can be seen by other realtors as well. So we all work in a collective network known as the MLS, the multiple listing service, hence the name multiple listing service. So any listing that another agent has is marketed in that service. So all realtors can see it, depending on what MLS you're a part of. There's multiple MLSs in throughout each state. So but in Indiana, I think we have like 4 or 5, I want to say. But yeah, so through our MLS, we will be able to see a home that is listed within the MLS. So just reach out to your lender, not your lender, sorry, you reach out to your lender too, but reach out to your realtor, who should also reach out to your lender and bring up the house that you want to see and run through different scenarios with that house. Because if it is going to be a competitive situation, you want to see how much that is going to be when it comes to maybe offering a little bit more than what is the asking price. So you always want to be aware of your situation at hand, and we try to keep it concise, if that makes sense. And you want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and when it comes to showings, that's really the first time where we can start to form a plan or strategy, because we're gonna, as soon as we go to schedule a showing, you know, we're checking to see, are there a lot of other showings going on? Or how long has this thing been on the market? Do we need to go see it today? Or if it's been on the market for 2 months, you know, is tomorrow gonna work? You know, I never want to assume that the house is gonna be there tomorrow, but there are certainly some situations where it's like, okay, this doesn't feel like we have to get there in the next hour. But that's when we really start to come up with, you know, a plan on if this thing is booked solid. I showed a home yesterday there were only a couple slots left, and I let the buyer know, hey, this one is probably going to be off the market tomorrow. You know, I assume, and so you know, having an agent that's well aware of those kinds of timeline constraints or issues is fantastic, because that could save you a lot of heartache if you're able to get the house to go see it before it's gone. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's when we really start, you know, our strategy phase on helping you get the house that you want to see.
Yeah, so as you can tell throughout this entire process, strategy is going to be your friend. We got to be tacticians in the market. So setting a strategy, figuring out how you're going to get pre-approved, setting a strategy on how you're going to see properties, pretty much strategy.
Right. Now with showings, this, I already know the answer to this because I'm on a wonderful team, but you know, we send listings to our clients, we send them emails with what they're looking for. But what other kinds of showings can we do? Like, do we have to wait till it's listed on the MLS to go look at a house, or, you know, what kind of other opportunities are there?
There's tons of other opportunities. There's off-market opportunities that we can do within the confines of what is legal in real estate. So sometimes we are able to show clients houses before they are listed, letting them know if they are going to be listed though. There's other times too where you can do an open house that's just for brokers, or they call it a broker's open. So that means the house that is going to be listed on the market is only available for those who are agents. So the agents will go and see the home, and we go around, we take a look. That's when we get a chance to say, okay, you know what, we have some buyers that can really fit, that this home would be great for, it is the right home for them. So that kind of gets the word out too. So that's a kind of a marketing, as well as being able to get in early.
Yeah, and for sale by owners, we have buyers that will drive past a house and see a sign out front that says for sale by the owner. We always want to make sure that they know, contact us, you know, deal with us. Don't try to deal with the seller on that, because we definitely have their buyer's best interest. So yeah, there are a lot of different types, you know, and we don't necessarily just have to wait till there's a sign in the yard,
Right.
and it shows up on Zillow or whatever your favorite search is. You know, we definitely would be proactive and get you to see whatever you want to see.
Right, pretty much. Because a lot of people use Facebook Marketplace, which is a very popular one. A lot of people use the realtor.coms, your Zillows, and this is sketchy, but some people also still use Craigslist for for seeing what their listings could be. So you just want to be careful with that. But there's many different ways, and you bring up an excellent point, Scott, because like 90% of buyers in the market will start their home search online. And so a lot of people actually start to look at homes before they're even pre-approved, before they talk to a realtor, because the home is the main attraction. You want a home, you want to see homes, you want to get inside them and see them, right? So a lot of times when we're reaching out to people and touching base and, you know, setting up consultations to talk to new buyers, they've already seen probably 10 or 15 homes online alone. There's technology out there that allows for you to walk through a property too. So that's something that you also want to take consideration as a buyer yourself. When you are in the search, I know you're going to start your search online. It's very different from when you actually step into a home in person though. So keep that in mind too, as you are going through the market. You can kind of see things that you like, things that you don't like, but that may change. And we might switch up our strategy once we're actually inside seeing homes, because you see things firsthand, in person. Pictures worth 1,000 words, but in person, it's priceless. So yeah,
absolutely. I guess, and just one other thing to kind of touch on make sure to call an agent, have an agent working for you that you trust, because there was one poor girl that called probably 3 different times about 3 different homes, properties that she had seen online on probably Marketplace or something. And it was fraudulent. It was someone posing as the owner of the house. When I did my research, I realized that's not the name you should be talking to. And so always have someone in your corner that really knows what's going on. I know sometimes we think we're going to save time if we just deal with this on our own, but always reach out to a solid agent that you have, that relationship with, that you trust. Because we will have your back. We have a lot of resources, that maybe that you don't have or don't know how to use. So just always make sure you're good there.
Most definitely. Yeah, make sure you have an agent you can trust. That's an overall theme here. Find someone you can trust. Trust is a big thing in our industry, and we always seek to uphold that trust for sure. Just because it is a big transaction, it's one of the largest purchases that people make in their lives most of the time. Unless some people are buying Lamborghinis, in which case that's okay too. But yeah, so definitely somebody you trust, and don't be afraid to shop around, talk to a couple of different people to get different perspectives. Every agent is not going to be a good fit for everyone, and that's important that you know that. As an agent, you try to be good to be able to work with every single personality type, but sometimes it's a little bit different, and that's okay. But you want to make sure that you have somebody in the market with you that is someone you trust and someone that you're willing to listen to as well, because agents in the market every day who see homes every day and list homes every day, we know what this market's like. We know what it takes to actually get you into a home. So feel free to ask us as many questions as you can to build that trust and build that rapport. But ultimately, in the end, the trust is what's going to save us in the end.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So now that we talked about showings,
yep.
And once you find that home that you want, as you're going through the home search process, the actual viewings, the showings, you'll start to narrow it down to things that you really, really like. And one thing I'd like to say too is that you want to make sure that if a home actually fits everything you want and you worked hard to get in there and see it, a home is definitely going to be worth what you're willing to pay for it. Okay. So keep that in consideration, because when it comes time to write an offer, a lot of people have this kind of connotation that you got to find the deal, right? All right, I'm going to get a deal. Okay, so that means I could come in maybe $5,000 under, and that'll be a deal, right? In this market, that is not the case. When you have multiple buyers looking at the same property, if you are coming in under the asking price, that's going to decrease your chances of getting the home. And we always want to increase our chance of getting the home, which is why we take opportunity to figure out the temperature of the property before we get there. Okay, so how many offers have there been, as Scott mentioned, how many showings are there? If we know exactly what we're going into, the situation we're going into, we know how we need to play our hand, essentially. And the thing when it comes to writing offers is that it's like a game of poker. Like, you know the hand that you have. So if somebody else is calling, they're getting ready to lay their hand down, we don't know what their hand is, right? So we just have to play the cards that we have. So when it's time for everybody to lay their cards out on the table, may the best hand win. The beauty of that though is like we can arrange our cards in a certain way to make sure that it is a good hand. So I hope that's a good enough metaphor.
Good.
If that
Play
makes
cards,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, because I always get the question, well, do we know what the other offers are? Maybe we can offer just a little bit more. Nope, to keep it fair, you don't know what the other offers are. You just have to put your best foot forward. You want to make your first offer your best offer. All right, Scott, you want to?
Absolutely. No, yeah, and Joseph's exactly right. We are strategic from step one. So when we go to a house, we know how many showings there are. We reach out to the listing agent. So when you decide, listen, this is the house, and it may be the first house you look at. We try to let people know, like, man, that happens. It's happened with our clients where the first house they go see, they love it. That's what they want. They write an offer, they get it. I mean, that's a fantastic situation. But when we're at that showing, if you decide to write an offer, we pretty much know what kind of situation it's going to be. And we have a really good idea. If, like I said, we have to go between 20 other showings going on at that time. And if there's showings scheduled for tomorrow and beyond, we want to know, like, okay, now we got to get our offer in quickly. So we definitely take into all those considerations. One thing that we always want to do is be very communicative with the listing agent. a lot of people believe that the strongest offer is the most money, or it has to be cash or something like that. That's not always the case. We always want to check in with the listing agent. Hey, is there anything besides $1 million that your client, needs or will help them make a decision? And sometimes they need flexibility in the timeline to close because maybe they're looking for a home. But we want to know any of those little factors that might play into the strength of our offer. I've definitely beaten cash offers with loans. And so that's the thing. And we just want to know what we're up against. But as Joseph said, we can't know what the amount is. Some agents, when they do tell you what the amount is or what it will take to get it, exactly, like basically, write this offer and it's yours. We're skeptical of those. We've been lied to before, so we want to really know what we're up against and be able to talk about that with you. And as Joseph said, first offer needs to be the best offer, because if we're in competition, if you're the second or third best offer, it's not likely you're even going to get a counter offer. A lot of people say, well, what's the worst that can happen? We'll get a counter offer. And unfortunately, in a lot of situations, no, the worst thing that can happen is they read your offer and something already beat it. So now they get a counter offer. So we always want to be very strategic in what we're up against. And we role play that a lot as a team. We beat each other up, in made up scenarios and real life scenarios that we deal with, conversations that we have with our buyers. So we're very well prepared to do that. We enjoy, I enjoy the strategy, the negotiations and everything like that. I think that's probably my most favorite part of the whole process is negotiations and strategy and kind of the brainstorming and everything like that. That's what I have to say about at least the strategy part. Knowing what you're up against will help you write the strongest offer.
For sure. I like that. And Scott mentioned counter offers. So for those of you who don't know, if you do write an offer and the seller is considering your offer, but there's a few parts of your offer that they don't like, they do have an opportunity to counter that offer, which means they will change those parts of the offer that they didn't like and then shoot an offer back over to you. So then now you have a counter offer as a buyer to look it over and decide, okay, so they changed maybe the closing date or they countered back with a little bit of a different price. The good part about that is if you get a counter offer, there's more of a chance of you getting the deal done, right? Okay, so that means the seller saw your initial offer, they liked most of it, but they're like, you know what, maybe a couple different things here. So that's a good sign. Like Scott said, if you don't get a counter offer at all, and you just get rejected, that means they're probably either counter offering someone else or accepting someone else's offer. And as I mentioned earlier, you always want your first offer to be your very best offer. And the reason being is because I ask my clients this all the time. Actually, everybody on the team now asks their clients this. If you're in that house and it has everything that you were looking for, right? It is the right home for you. And we're going to touch on my word choice there, the right home for you. Then if you were to pass up on that opportunity, later down the road, you drive past the house, you see another family moving in, how is that going to make you feel? Right? And I know it's not a good feeling, okay? Because and believe it or not, as agents, when we're in the market, we're in it just as much as the client is, because we want to see you be happy. We want to see you get that home. We get just as much fulfillment as you, because we're like, oh my gosh, this person worked hard for this. I was able to help them, but in the end, they made the right decision to go ahead and put that offer in, right? So think about that. When you find the right home, is it something that you would feel salty about if someone else were moving into it? If you do feel salty about it and you're like, you know what, I'd be upset if someone else moves into the home, that sounds like it's the right home for you. You might want to write a strong offer, okay? But if you're okay with someone else moving into it, maybe it's not the home for you. Or maybe you just really like lay back and chill. Either way, it probably still isn't the home for you. But anyway, I also wanted to say, when I said the right home, I wanted to touch base on that. And Scott, you know what I'm getting at here. So if you could take it over for me, what do I mean by the right home? And why did I not say the perfect home?
Right. Because there's really no such thing as a perfect home. I can tell you from experience, I've built a house the way I thought I wanted it. And after about the first month, it's like, man, I wish I would have done this. You can always make the house yours. You can make it right for you. And so people that say, you know, their first house is going to be their forever house, their forever home. I get a little kind of cringy when I hear that, because I think that is not hardly ever the case. Financially, it doesn't make a lot of sense. People, as you live in a house, you always learn things that you would have changed or you want to change. So we want to get this house to check a lot of the boxes. We want it to be in the right neighborhood. If you're in schools, your kids are in school that they need to be near. We want it to be the right layout, the right number of rooms, the right number of garage bays, if that's a big thing, the yard. We want all that stuff to be good and what you're looking for. And if it's carpet, if it's paint, if it's anything cosmetic, that stuff you can do later. When we built our house, we did all the structural stuff that we couldn't do down the road. We had 9-foot ceilings put in. We did all that kind of stuff, knowing that, man, I'll change the carpet later. Like the flooring is going to get changed when our kids are older, things like that. If we'd have tried to build the perfect house, they'd still be building it and they'd be changing it
every other day.
And yeah, the builder would not be happy with us. But yeah, in terms of existing homes, I mean, get what's going to make sense to you, what you can deal with, and over the time you'll find what might work better for you, and get it later. But people that want to wait, I mean, time has not been on our side as buyers or sellers for that part, but specifically buyers. Too many times we talk with buyers that, well, I'm just waiting until X or Y, and it's not anything life altering. It's just kind of pickiness, they don't put themselves in good positions. And on the other hand, we've seen people that bought houses 2 and 3 years ago when it was really hard to buy homes, but they wanted to do it and they did it. Now they're sitting on $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 of equity. They could go upgrade a house pretty easily. They've just money in the bank. So yeah, time is not our friend when it comes to buying a house. I mean, not that you ever want to settle, but you do need to make a decision and act on it. And then we can figure the rest out later. If it's refinancing or if it's looking for another house. But yeah, people that wait, it usually does not work out well. And it's tough on us. And I feel bad for some of the young couples I've seen in here that say that, well, we want to save 20% down. And now 2 years later, interest rates have gone up 4% over what they could have gotten. And now they're priced out, and just situations like that where we're just going to wait for the perfect blah blah blah, and it's not there. There's no perfect house.
Yeah, there's no perfect house and there's no perfect time either.
Yeah.
There's always a right time though, and always that's the sooner or better. Now perfect probably would have been last year. You know what I mean? It's always the time that's already passed, right?
Yeah.
So that's what essentially perfect is. But you know, kind of like tomorrow is always a day away. Yesterday is always a day late. So so yeah, that was perfect, Scott. See, look what I did there. That was perfect the way you did that, Scott. You said the right thing though. There is no perfect time to buy a house. There is no perfect house, but there's the right home. Think about your basic necessities, what you need. Because also think about this, you might be currently renting maybe a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom and bath that you don't even like that much, but your rent is $1,200, and you have an opportunity to get a 3-bed 1-bath home that might be maybe a little bit more expensive per month, but it has everything that you need. And on top of that, we always say this too, if you're you're renting an apartment, that's essentially 100% interest, because you're never going to get any of that money back. Maybe your deposit, maybe, but if you have kids or pets, we know that's not always the case. But if you have a home, you have an opportunity to build equity and cash out on that equity when you do go to sell and move into something different. Yeah,
and that's a big thing he just mentioned. People that say I'm going to rent another year until I find the perfect house. If you're paying $1,200, like just the example he mentioned, in 12 months, that's $14,400. So had you bought the right house for you at the time and put $14,000 into it over the year to make it even better, like how would that change your life, instead of you walking out of that apartment $14,000 in the hole with nothing to show for it. So yeah, we there's no right time, you just gotta do it.
Oh, man, some people say I feel targeted.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
We're not single, we're not talking about anyone specific.
Yeah, don't feel bad, don't feel bad. Oh, man, but hindsight's always 20/20, so, which is way better vision than I have currently. Antoine, with the eyes, I see you. So, do we have any questions? Because I think we pretty much covered everything, and believe me, we can definitely go in and talk for hours. And I mean hours upon hours about stuff like this, but we want to give you guys time to ask some questions, and maybe there's some things we didn't go over, or maybe you want us to elaborate on something. So we'll give you a few minutes, if you will. Scotty, if you want to read those comments, are you able to hear out?
I am able to read it.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of them from our team here, we got Antoine
Yeah.
saying it's war out here with how low the housing inventory is.
So
We numbers for Tippecanoe County and all the surrounding counties, including White, Carroll, Clinton, all the bordering counties. Right now we're at just a little over a month of inventory,
Yeah.
which means if they didn't list any new houses, everything that's on the market would be gone in a month, just a little over a month. So as Joseph kind of touched on, there are 3 or 4 buyers for every house right now. So yeah, inventory is low. So it is a battle out there. Have people that are strategic on your behalf, that are not going to just tell you what they think you want to hear. That's a big thing. We're huge on that here. Like, listen, I hope that I become your friend during the process. My goal is to get you a great house, save you money in the process, save you hassle, tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. So and if I do that, I think you'll appreciate and respect us more when we do that, instead of missing opportunities because we didn't shoot straight with you. So yeah, that's a big thing. Inventory is low still.
Yep. As he mentioned, no houses were listed for a month, we'd be out of houses completely, which is wild to think about. But if you thought about this, if you never say you went on Zillow and there was no house there, nothing. There's like, hey, everything's gone. We have maybe one house. It's 1.5 million. That was yeah, that's how we were looking at it.
Get all your friends together and chip in, but
yeah, exactly. We revamp the real world and shoot a TV show in the house or something.
yeah.
Take
So
pre-approvals on one house.
so here's a question. What is the biggest mistake you see buyers make in today's market? You can go first.
Yes, I will go first. I think the biggest mistake that buyers make in this market is waiting too late, but trying to do stuff too soon. And here's what I mean. Like Scott said before, I'm just gonna wait until I find the perfect house, or I'll wait and keep looking online until I find the house, or I'll continue to rent. All right. Some people, that might be an actual condition for you, like you're in a lease that you can't get out of. That's fine. But then I also see clients who are like, yeah, I might wait. And before they talk to a realtor or a lender or anything, they want to actually go see a house, go get inside of a house and look around. Here's the problem with that. And as an agent, I have shown people houses before with the intention to have them pre-approved. But we looked at a house together, get them in the idea of, okay, you really want this house, right? Now, you've seen this house, you've got to look through it. You were probably falling in love with this house. Now, what do we do? Do you want this house? How do we get that to happen? Are we pre-approved? Do you know how much you can spend on this house? Do you know how much this house will be per month? Right? That's something that when he said, what Scott says, what I say all the time, what we're always talking about, strategy. It's figuring out and having a plan before you make that jump. Because, like I said, 90% of people start their home search online, which means they would love to go inside and see them, but they don't want to do it online. They don't really want to talk to people. But if they get in touch with someone, they're like, hey, can we go see this house? It's not going to benefit you any to see that house and then not be able to move on it. It's kind of like dangling a carrot in front of you. Yeah, I really want that carrot, but I can't get it. Now, what we do is we get you pre-approved. We figure out a strategy, we cut the string off the carrot and we hand it to you. And we wash it off, but we hand it to you after that.
Yeah, and if I could kind of add, I believe really the biggest mistake people make is waiting until they believe they're ready. Much like if you ever hear someone talk about becoming a parent, like, well, I'm just not ready yet. Like, you're never ready for that. If you're going to talk about a major expense, there's a lot of probably research you need to do, or speak with someone who knows what's best way to help you. We talk with a lot of people. I'm just saving money, and then I'll start thinking about it. How much are you going to save? I don't know. My friend told me this much. Your friend's situation is different than yours, most likely. So we want to always have a conversation, get together, go over it with a lender in person, as soon as possible. Even if someone called me and said, listen, I want to buy a house next year, 2024 is the year. Great. Let's get together today. Like, let's not wait until October. So I would just say waiting for the right time to start the process, waiting for the right interest rate, waiting for the right price, for the right house. Just waiting is just the number one thing that will put you in a bad position. Here's another question.
Yeah, another question. Wait, real quick though, I wanted to say, so waiting is definitely a killer of it, but not being prepared. So like if someone were going to ask you to chop down a tree, you have a day to chop down a tree, you've spent the first 23 hours sharpening your axe. So if I'm not looking to buy until next year, we're going to sharpen your axe for this first whole year. Let's come in, let's sit down, let's get these tools together so your axe is really sharp. So whenever you do go to buy, you go to swing, that tree comes down one stroke. Hashtag Paul Bunyan. Let's get it. Next question is, if I own a home, but need to sell it before I buy, what does the process look like? Oh, great. And then what's the best approach? That's an excellent question. And so Scott, who's been one of the top listing agents I've ever known in my life, you can definitely answer this question. I have some insight too, but I want to hear.
Right. So if I own a home and I want to sell it before I buy, what does the process look like? So the process, it says I need to sell it. Yeah, absolutely. The process is go through the listing process. We'll go over what you can make from it. You know, it's strategy. We want to know how much you owe on your house. That will help me determine how much you're going to walk away with from the sale, and then be able to apply that towards a purchase. People kind of put the cart before the horse a lot of times, and they say, I will sell my house when I find the right house. Unfortunately, with such high demand and low inventory in the market right now, by the time you see a house that you like and then want to talk about listing your house, it's too late. The next day it's going to be too late. So we need to have everything in order to sell your house and then go through the purchase. I would still definitely meet with a lender to make sure that you can get pre-approved after you sell your house, because it's a big puzzle and we want to know how much you're going to walk away with in order to put as a down payment, or any sort of other strategies in writing that solid offer. But yeah, we definitely want to do that, and we will protect you with a contingency that says, we're not leaving this house, we're not moving out and closing on it until we are under contract and know that we're going to be able to close on another house. So some people, the reason they want to go looking at houses before they think about selling their house is they're afraid, well, what if I sell my house so fast and then I'm not able to find something? So I want to find something first, but that's actually fairly backwards. You know, we want to get your house going to sell first. We will protect you contractually so that if you don't ever find another house, you don't ever have to leave your house. So yeah, we definitely, that's a great strategy. It's a lot of moving pieces there, a lot of puzzle pieces that we want to help piece together with the money, the sale, how much is going towards the purchase. So yeah,
for sure. And I definitely want to touch even more on that too. What you said is the money you make from the sale, but the getting pre-approved part. So some people who do want to sell their home and get into another home, I want to make it clear that sometimes people's credit can take a dip. Some things can happen that keeps you from being able to be pre-approved. Maybe not completely not pre-approved, or not pre-approved enough for what you want in your next house. So that's also why we need to see how much you're going to make from the sale of your house and how much you actually need to be pre-approved for your next house. There's, like you said, a lot of moving parts. We want all those ducks in a row. So if you actually have some credit work that you have to do to get yourself back up to a point where you're like, okay, you know what? Over the years, I may have let my credit slip because I already owned a house. There was no other big person I needed to worry about. You know, maybe the credit cards are a little bit past their balance. okay, let's get that down, let's figure this out, let's get our credit back up, let's get pre-approved for something that we know we can get. And that way we'll have a number in mind that we can go to a house with and we'll be ready. On top of that, we also want to make sure that whenever you are writing an offer for the home that you want and your house is still in the market, there's certain stipulations there too, where maybe you did find that perfect home, right? And you are already pre-approved and now you want to write an offer on a home, but your home is not on the market yet. So you know what that does? That means somebody who might be pre-approved the same amount, but does not have a home to sell can actually get into a property quicker than you. And the reason what being is because depending on that seller of that home that you want, if they want a quick close and they don't want to wait on anything, someone who doesn't have a home to sell that is already pre-approved and ready to go can move fast. It's going to look much more appetizing than someone who needs to now get their home on the market, which means they got to go through the whole process of getting it listed, getting the pictures taken, getting the advertisement out, getting that interest in their home so that they can get that home under contract. And then you could possibly make that money that you wanted to make so that you can put it toward the home that you're trying to buy. You see how that whole process looks along the way. So now it's like we're creating a chain. I need to sell my home so that I can purchase this home. That other person probably needs to sell this home just so they purchase their next home, which is also why multiple people in a transaction are affected by every single person's decision in those transactions. So we need to, again, have a strategy and know what we're capable of doing, know what our numbers are before we put other people's livelihoods as well in the fray, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very strategic, but it's there's a lot of fronts that are moving at the same time. And yeah, strategy, which kind of leads into the next question. How do I know I have the right agent to help me buy a home? I mean, if they have a silver lining name tag, that's a good indicator. That's a really good start.
Pretty much.
I like agents named Scott or Joseph or
I found really good success with those guys.
Yeah. In all reality, one of the things I talk about during my home buyer consultations with buyers is really anybody, any bot BOT on a computer can help you find how many bedrooms you want, the location, the school. You know, anybody, anything can help you find that house, but we want to know why. We're going to go deep on why do you want this house in that school district or near this job, or what's it going to mean to you? Because all of those little details really help form a better idea of the right house for you. And if I could find you a good house based on the number of bedrooms and the price and the location, but I really want to know why. That's what drives me. I've been able to help buyers. One of my first transactions when I got started was a couple. He was a veteran. They were in their 60s and they had never bought a house before. And the first house we went and looked at, they wanted to write an offer and they were in tears because they were just talking about how their granddaughter could come spend the night with them at their own house. And so those kinds of things, I mean, you think your agent's not going to work hard for you when they have those kind of stories that they're trying to help people with homes. I mean, that's a big deal to me, at least. And I know it is for everyone on my team. We're very personable, very empathetic. We're very strategic, logical, getting you what you want. But the why, what it's going to mean to you is huge for us. And so we take it, kind of to the next level for sure.
Most definitely. You want somebody whose goals are going to align with yours. And here at Silver Lining, our goal is to help you reach yours. So, but any age, drop my trap. What? That is okay. But to touch on what Scott said, you want somebody who's taking into consideration everything leading up to you making it a conscious decision that you want to buy a home. We're going to take all of those reasons, your big why, and we're going to put that into our search. We're going to put that into every offer that we write for you. Every time we discuss strategy, we're going to refer back to why you want to buy a home. Maybe the house is not absolutely perfect, but it has the right things for you. We're going to bring that back up. And again, when we say, do you want an agent who's going to be 100% honest with you, or somebody's going to tell you what they think you want to hear? You want that honest agent, because we're going to remind you, we're going to say, hey, remember when we met at this time and you said the reason you wanted to buy was because you wanted your grandkids to be able to come visit you, or because you wanted a backyard for the first time in your life fenced in so your dog can run around. We're going to bring those things up. So when we're talking about 4 other offers on the table, and you really want this home and it has that right backyard for you, your grandkids can come see you. I'm gonna bring this up and I'm gonna say, hey, what do you think is the best offer that you can write to secure this for you and your family? Okay, so at the end of the day, if we put our best foot forward, we made our first offer, our best offer, we leave it all on the floor. Hey, we can't take anything away from that. That means we did what we needed to do. You need an agent who's gonna be able to ride with you to the very end. Through all of it.
Ride or die.
Ride or die, preferably the ride part and the home part, let's die.
Ride or don't buy.
Ride or don't buy. There we go. Ride or buy, yeah. We said it. Oh, man. So do we have any more? Those are some great questions, guys. I really appreciate the questions. I love it. Any more questions from you guys? No? Yeah, nay? We have another comment. Joseph has the best metaphors. I agree, 100%. Yeah, just great. Thank you. Yeah,
That's such a compliment. I
it
mean,
is.
she seems like a special person.
She might be. But yeah, we don't have any other comments. Are there any final thoughts, Scott? That you
No, those are all fantastic questions. Just know that here on Silver Lining, we practice every day, being able to help our clients get exactly what they're looking for, what they need, what they want, with less money, less time, less hassle. That's our goal as our clients. We take that very seriously. And we feel blessed to be able to do what we do, for sure. And we really appreciate our clients and just the situations they're in. Being able to meet them where they are and get them across the finish line. And yeah, if you need to get a hold of us, slreg.com is our website. My name's Scott Fultz. My number is 765-427-2982. Email is Scott, SCOTT @slreg.com.
awesome. You can reach me at Joseph, JOSEPH @slreg.com. My phone number is 765-201-7972. That's my direct business line. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can find me on Facebook, hit me up on Messenger, even on Instagram at Nuclear Cheer Guy. I have to change that around so it sounds more real estate. But yeah, just find me anywhere, find us anywhere. If you see us out in the mall or something like that, come get us. Be like, hey, I saw you on the website. So hey, I need a house. But yeah,
I need to get an afro so I'm more recognizable out on the street because everyone recognizes Joseph.
Trust me, when it comes for me to want to remain hidden, it's not so good. But no worries, I'm always okay with people recognizing me, and I love helping. So yeah, actually, I think that's a big part of our team here is the helping aspect, which is why we do videos like this. We feel like the stronger you guys are in the education of the market, the easier it is for you to make decisions. The better it is for you to make the right decisions. And yeah, it's an overall collective effort no matter what, because after all, a house is a part of a neighborhood, is a part of a community, and we're all about community. So we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now. And I think it'll be me and someone else possibly, but
yeah,
Scott,
figure that out. We're going to kind of talk about once you're under contract, what that entails.
Yes. So good call. On the next episode, we will talk about what it means to be under contract, and what that process looks like, seeing it all the way through to the end. And then, how to make sure that we get through the transaction safely.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to catch the replay. It'll be out probably 24 hours after this. And yeah, if you have any questions, don't forget to reach out to us and we'll definitely be happy to help.
Awesome. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You got it.